my original law firm, when I first reached out to the Law Practice Exchange in Tomlin Festi, was consisted of 6 attorneys, all female. We all were virtual. We all worked remotely. So there were no hard assets whatsoever that were involved. But we were an exclusive, solely representing franchisees nationwide. So it's a fairly unique and niche practice. So that made it a little bit more challenging, I would think, to try and find somebody who might be interested in the practice. I didn't know how easy it would be to find somebody who would be interested in buying it and would be a good fit for the firm, because I felt very protective of the attorneys that were working for me. But I did feel that the firm had value. I always felt that the firm had value. I didn't know what the value was until there was a valuation done by the Law Practice Exchange. But I had an idea in my head because I felt it was probably valued based on revenues. So the valuation of the practice was an interesting exercise because I'm not a particularly data-driven person. And the firm, as I said, we were 6 attorneys. I didn't have any hard assets, as I mentioned. I didn't have any paralegals. I didn't have any support staff. So I didn't keep a lot of data on it other than through QuickBooks when I had my accountants and the bookkeeper handling that. So I had a good idea of revenues and expenses, but there was a lot of information that was needed that wasn't something that I was keeping track of particularly beforehand. So it was a little bit time consuming, but obviously very well worth it. I did consider another company. I'm really glad that I didn't go with them. When I was looking to sell the law firm, I actually did some research. I did find another company as well that handled that. I did interview them and meet with them. But I have a very close friend of mine who is the law practice manager of the Pennsylvania Bar Association. I'm out of Pennsylvania. So I said to her, who did she recommend? And then I interviewed both the person that I had found on my own and Tom. And I'm really happy that I went with Tom and the Law Practice Exchange for the process. I think that he knows what he's doing. I think that he was invaluable in the process. I'm not sure. I guess to learn some of the data, I did learn some things about data that I didn't, as I said, that's not where my focus is. I'm not particularly data driven. The buyer of the practice actually asked a lot of questions that were data related questions. So that forced me to focus in on some things that I hadn't really done, and certainly focused me or encouraged me to reach out to my accountant for a lot of information that I didn't necessarily have available at my fingertips to begin with. But I think Tom just made the process of selling and buying on both ends very pleasant, very easy. He didn't push me. He understood what my practice was about. And I think that's probably the most valuable thing I can say, because a franchise law practice is not a personal injury practice. It's not a divorce practice. It's not even a general business law practice. It's a pretty unique area of law. And it takes someone who understands that area of law to be able to represent it. And I think he really took the time and energy to learn about the practice, to learn about my business, to understand me and what my goals were, because they weren't what everybody else's practice and goals were. And I really value that. I am thrilled. So where we are today is that I'm still working, but part-time, for the new firm that was formed. My name is part of that practice. It's Luther Leonard, PC, and my partner who bought the practice is fantastic. He couldn't be any better. He's a great guy. He's easy to work with, and it was an incredibly good fit. And I had 3 offers on the practice, and I'm really thrilled that I went with who I went with. And he's just been a great guy to work with, and he's very flexible. I'm still bringing a great deal of value to the new firm, but I'm working the hours that I want to work and have the flexibility to do what I want to do on the days that I'm not working. If I want to work part of those days, that's great. If I don't, that's fine. Nobody's looking at the amount of hours that I bring in or anything. And primarily, I'm the rainmaker, which is what I was before. Only I was doing it 5 days a week managing the firm and doing everything myself. Now we have an infrastructure, we have support staff, and we are now 11 attorneys. So we've grown, we're a growing firm. We're probably the largest franchisee law firm in the country, and it's just been a great experience all around. I'm thrilled. So I would give high praise to the Law Practice Exchange very readily and without a hesitation. And I have recommended it to colleagues that expressed an interest in selling their practice. I'm very active in the Pennsylvania Bar's solo and small firm section of the Pennsylvania Bar and their listserv. And when anybody expresses any interest in possibly looking to exit their practice or to retire, I always mention contacting Tomlin Festi and the Law Practice Exchange, because I think that it's been an incredibly great experience for me. And I can't imagine that it wouldn't be for anybody else that was looking to sell their practice or retire or go part-time and try to find some other options to merge their practice with another firm.